Last time we only scraped the surface of the most disturbing music videos out there. Part 1 took us into strange and unforgettable but still very mainstream videos. But we're not done yet. Part 2 picks up where we left off. Only now things get darker. Way darker. Fair warning, there are no limits here, and I mean literally. I'll be diving straight into every topic we came across, no matter how graphic or disturbing, especially in the final layers where music doesn't just flirt with shock value, they cross the line into real-world horror. Also, thank you for all your suggestions, but I think some of you have underestimated just how twisted this iceberg really gets. Before we begin, my name is 𝒙𝒑𝒏𝒆𝒅 and I make videos about the darker things in our life, from music, internet culture to everything else. If this sounds like your thing, consider subscribing to the channel. One more thing to add here, that channel members and patrons do get these videos uncensored and early. But let's waste no time here. This is the part 2 of the most disturbing music video iceberg chart. Layer 4, the underground stuff. Now we're slipping into something less digestible. These aren't your typical shock videos, and were definitely not made to chase clicks. They're raw, much more surreal, and downright disturbing. Rubber Johnny by Chris Cunningham and Apex Twin. How are you feeling right now? Calm, relax. If so, let me ruin your mood with a Rubber Johnny.
We're not really getting anywhere, are we, at the moment?
Rubber Johnny is a 2005 British experimental short film / music video written, directed and produced by Chris Cunningham. He is the one guy behind that infamous PlayStation ad. And the music is done by no other than Apex Twin. If you've seen anything from those two, you already know you're not getting a normal viewing experience. This video is shot entirely in infrared night vision, and it opens up on what looks like a deformed boy in a wheelchair being locked inside a basement.
Just calm down. Just try to relax.
By the way, the boy is played by Johnny himself. I would tell you it seems innocent, but it isn't, as things become more obscure when the music kicks in. Suddenly, Johnny starts twitching, spinning, and performing balancing tricks in his wheelchair, all while the music is firing on all cylinders. But then, the door cracks open, a distorted male voice starts to yell at him, he sits upright, and a slap is implied before the door is shut. And then, silence, but just for a second, as he does a line of Bolivian marching powder, and the chaos continues. Meanwhile, in the video there is a poor chihuahua sitting in a corner and having the same facial expression as I. The whole thing is abstract, claustrophobic even. It feels like you're trapped in the dark with this twitchy creature getting bombarded by flashing edits, melting faces, and seizure-inducing cuts, all while Apex signature audio attacks your ears. Oh, did I mention that the video opens up with a shot of a little cute mouse, followed immediately by a close-up shot of a male tool with Rubber Johnny written on it. Oh wait, I get it now, Rubber Johnny is a slang for one of tricks, points never. Did you like that chihuahua from the last entry? Good, now ask yourself how much. Because of that, would you dress up in a full furry suit? Or maybe get a modified plush toy for your intimate time? Now, if you're asking, what the hell is wrong with me? Well, nothing, but these things are actually tying us to the next entry. Produced by Still Life or Beta Male, it's a collaboration between the musician and a visual artist called John Ruffman, known for his work that explores internet subculture and that uncanny side of digital life. This isn't your typical music video, it's more like an internet fever dream or a portal to a room of a Reddit moderator or a 4chaner. The music is weirdly hypnotic, built on fragmented synths, chopped up samples, with samples of a robotic voice that navigates you through this music video. It feels cold, artificial, but strangely emotional. The entire video is a montage of found footage and strange internet imagery, stitched together in a way that makes you feel you stumbled onto someone's corrupted hardware drive. We are talking about old school anime clips, footage from old point-and-click PC games, and often featuring people who are clearly not in the right headspace. It's showing you the isolation and identity crisis that come with growing up entirely online. The video would also show decaying rooms filled with garbage. And look, I'm not judging. I've been in my room for far too long editing videos like this, but I would get a mental breakdown if my room would look like that. But sometimes you need a reality slap to remind yourself to go out and touch grass. Where the video has quite a 180 turn is when it starts showing pictures of furry conventions and other weird looking videos, until it escalates into hentai combined with the furries. It's a full descent into internet degeneracy, so deep it starts to be frightening. This video is not about the blood or jump scares, it's about those people who are living a second life with very strange preferences. And if it bothers you that you recognize much of your browsing history here, I'm not apologizing, but I do apologize for the next entry. 𝒙𝒑𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅. The first time I watched this so-called art project, I genuinely felt violated. That's why I toned it down for you, so you don't end up seizing up and rage quitting my tiny channel. And please, don't do it. 𝒙𝒑𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅 is a Japanese breakcore cybergrunge producer based in Tokyo, and the song we're covering, I can't pronounce it if you didn't tell, but I can explain what's going on. Even if I'm showing you the toned down version of the original video, it is clear to see that the video is trying to attack your senses. It's loud, colorful, but also too much to process. We're talking about glitchy neon chaos, non-stop flashing, pixelated noises, and disfigured humanoid creatures, and the visuals feel like your TV is broken. But none of that is random, the flickering, the glitches, the digital body art, it's all intentional, because I genuinely think that 𝒙𝒑𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅 wants to hurt you. Watching this video, I would get a strange feeling like I was drinking white monster and dry scooping a pre-workout, because I was paranoid, overstimulated, and I could literally see noise. And all of this is just packed under 2 minutes. Short entry for a short song. But you clicked on this video for the more obscure and disturbing stuff, am I right? Ready or not, Flying Lotus. Let's switch gears to something more refined and relaxing, but don't let this artsy animation fool you. Ready or Not is animated and directed by 𝒙𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅, best known as the creator of Salad Fingers.
Against my salad fingers.
Yes, that guy. So if you already know about him, you know that this won't be a walk in the park. It's more like a nightmare, but with your sleep paralysis demon taking the creative controls of your dreams. The music has weird drums, eerie synths. There is little in the way of traditional music structure, but the song goes hand in hand with the music video, as they feel they are both spiraling together into madness. The animation style is detailed and clean, which somehow makes it even worse. It starts with a scalpel slicing open a head, and from there it only goes downhill. Grotesque figures, mutilated bodies, eyeballs with spider legs. The atmosphere of the video is slow and cold, unlike the previous entry. Although the whole entry is about a girl who is parading this head around, nothing comes close to the baby scene, which honestly made me sick. The baby shown on screen would explode from the inside, revealing one single thick, fleshy lump of colon that connects to the other babies. And it's this whole twisted spiraling mess. It's not gory and over the top like the Slayer trilogy we mentioned, but it's very abstract horror that reminds me of many creepypastas or surreal games that we are touched earlier on my channel. But if this doesn't freak you out, the next one entry definitely will. 𝒐𝒑𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅. Now this one feels like a how did VHS type you found in the basement of that one weird friend. That quiet one who rarely speaks. But when he does, he would usually say something very inappropriate. And if you ever came across this video, which I seriously doubt, because it only has 60,000 views, do yourself a favor and don't click on it. You don't need more trauma than my explanation here. Piggy Hog is filmed entirely in black and white, and it leans hard into emotional decay. It's blurry, grainy, minimal, like a dream you don't want to be in. The song itself is pure, slow, cryptic with heavy trap beats, and the vocals are barely there, let's say half whispered, as if they were recorded in a shallow grave. But the music doesn't prepare you for the content in the video at all. Well, it starts with a man slowly undressing and mounting a pig. While you're giving your screen a blank look of what the hell is this, it switches up to a close-up shot of a pig giving birth, with the man proudly watching like it was his child. As the video continues, the pig dies. The man, overwhelmed with grief or guilt, as he realizes he mounted a poor animal, he tries to bury himself beside the pig. This intimate shot is interrupted by the man who emerges naked from the grave and goes on a ladder to commit you know what. I don't know how to read into this. Could be the pig a metaphor for unconditional love or something forbidden? The man's descent into madness, grief and self-destruction feels like a twisted love story that was doomed from the start. There is no gore, no screaming, no monsters, yet it's still one of the most uncomfortable videos on the list. It's quiet, slow and very wrong. Smack my bitch up, the prodigy. Okay, how many of you know that this was coming? The video feels like what someone in the 90s imagined as the perfect night. If they survived it, of course. So let's rewind to a time where MTV actually played quite unhinged music videos, like this one, even if it was just for a brief time. And right from the start, it feels like you're stuck in somebody's head, and probably someone who shouldn't be a role model to anyone. Musically, I know most of you know this track, so I don't want to talk about it. Even I, who doesn't like Prodigy, knows this track. You follow this mysterious character as he wakes up and goes out. And his night is just chaotic, drinking, brawling, vandalizing, getting thrown out of clubs, visiting strip joints, puking blood in sinks, which sounds like the most typical night you can have in the Balkans. And just to top it all off, stealing a car and taking a stripper home. Extra points for that one. It's a blur of all the vices known to man. There is also a very infamous bathroom scene that caused quite a few arguments, as you would see how the protagonist is injecting himself illegal substances. And just when you think this is the peak of the video throws a few scenes of something that could be described as SA and a hit and run case. All wrapped up in this dirty, chaotic music video that is perfectly accompanied by the music. And it feels like being blacked out drunk with a GoPro duct taped to your face. It was banned from the networks, slammed for misogyny, and caused more controversy than most artists could dream of. But then comes the twist. The entire time you assume that this violent, reckless protagonist is a man, until the very end, when it's revealed it was a woman, and it flips the whole narrative upside down. In 2010, it was voted for the most controversial song of all the time by PRS for Music. And let's be honest now, why? Because it's raw, messy, real? Not promoting anything, not endorsing anything, but let's be honest here. Almost everyone has done at least two things shown in this video. And hopefully not the bathroom scene in the hit and run case. But if you think that none of these entries on this layer was disturbing, the next layer might be just for you. Layer 5. Gore, Blood, Guts. Could this really be a disturbing iceberg without an entire layer dedicated to the most violent, blood-soaked music videos out there? Viewer discretion, we left it behind 3 layers ago. Forced gender reassignment. Cattle decapitation. Is it really good to force gender rules onto everything? Screaming at people who just want to live their lives and doesn't want to fit in your rigid box? You can tell me your opinions down below, but the guys from Cattle Decapitation decided to make a song about it. This track isn't just gory for gore's sake, it's vicious and a satirical reflection of transphobia and the violence that comes from forced conformity. Now the lyrics describe a brutal world with a critique of today's society, and it's quite offensive. And that's exactly the point according to the singer. And you can only imagine how this video ended up. It starts with muffled screams and then we see a protest. A hooded figure appears and unleashes chaos. Then we are thrown into a pitch black room with two people captured. This video has no limits when it comes to showing sick and twisted horrors. It goes into graphic detail and leaves little room for imagination. After all, the song is called Forced Gender Reassignment. To keep it short and simple, it's basically the human centipede version of music videos. This video isn't just here to shock you, it's here to make you uncomfortable with how comfortable people are when it comes to policing others and controlling how they think. But that's the whole point of this video, I think. Showing you weird and obscure videos so you can form your own opinion about them. Now for the next one, let's go to the most cancerous subgenre of metal. Sterile nails and thunderbolts. Now this one is considered a cult classic among black metal fans, despite or maybe because of the absolutely deranged high-pitched screams. Even if I think that a song like Life Eternal knocks this out of the park, this isn't just a song, it's an unfiltered descent into a mind that doesn't want to exist anymore. The lyrics are like a fever dream, rotting bodies, dying cats, needles and flames. But under all of this edge, it's a cry about spiritual decay. It's suffocating, it's bleak, it's black metal. Now the video, oh boy, it opens slowly, drenched in reverb effects, shot in black and white. We start in a forest and see a ghostly girl in a white dress wandering like a bad omen. Then it switches to a man, disemboweled, lying motionless. We could say he's lying motionless in white. It's unclear if he's alive or just given up. Then the video rewinds. He is alive and twitching and convulsing in pain. The low and grainy quality and the intense contrast makes it impossible to tell what's blood and what's shadow, and the low quality is actually working in its favor. Then a naked woman appears and starts to dance around him. It feels like a ritual, and from there it only gets worse. What also makes the video unsettling is the high-pitched screams combined with the fast cuts, even if the guitars in the music video are somber and quiet. But here is the twist. This isn't the original footage. It's actually a re-edit of a 1989 American experimental horror movie called Begotten. Should that disqualify this entry? Maybe, but some of the videos in the final era aren't exactly original either. But that doesn't make it less effective. If you don't like the song because of its morbid and somewhat anti-Semitic lyrics, that's perfectly fine, as black metal isn't meant to be produced to be liked or accepted. It's simple as that. It's music for people who resonate with pain, chaos and inner turmoil. I hope this makes sense. Inhuman Harvest, Cannibal Corpse. I know what you're thinking right now. Come on, Snorky, this was such an obvious pick. And yes, it was. But can we really talk about gore music videos without mentioning Cannibal Corpse? In 2021, decades into their career, they dropped Inhuman Harvest, one of the most visually disturbing and socially grounded videos to date. Yes, it's very theatrical and it looks like a horror movie, but that's not the point I want to make. The video opens up with a man being dragged into an operating room. While he was being dragged, he was looking at people chained up to the walls. Everything is shot with that grimy green theme, like a lost scene from Saw, with the equal amount of gore on display. It continues when this trapped soul is thrown onto a table and the surgical procedure starts without anesthesia, all while in the background the doctors are counting money. It has that medical horror vibe, and while I was watching the video, I couldn't shake the eerie smell of hospitals from my mind. It's clinical and cold, but the message was obvious. People trapped and bred, broken and carved up for profit, while the world looks the other way, sustained by a circle of people willing to pay up. yet never say a word. And that's what makes it so dark. There is nothing supernatural or exaggerated here. Just a brutal honest look at what happens when the human body becomes a mere product, something to be used and thrown away. And sadly, in some parts of the world, this is more common than we are like to admit. People disappear and never come back. Sure, you can call Cannibal Corpse edgy lords or dismiss the whole genre as a hot garbage, but even if that's true, the whole video mirrors a reality, nothing more, nothing less. And that's exactly why it earns its spot, even if it's leaned more in the mainstream because of its popularity. Clinical sodomy, butcher's harem. I don't know what it is, but there is something that freaks me out about people wearing pig masks. Probably a trauma because I watched Saw when I was too young. Especially that one apartment scene where the guy is using his camera as a flashlight. And I know we are long past the cartoonish over-the-top stuff, but clinical sodomy still somehow felt right for this layer for all the wrong reasons. Remember MC Bushpig and Eat My Rotten Flesh? Yeah, this is his brainchild. Again, it's a filthy mix of gore grind and horrorcore rap straight out of Australia. And it's all about films, nephilia and worse. It's raw and it's wild, it's intentionally unlistenable, and it's rendered like a 3D engine, which makes all the characters feel like Morrowind characters. Everything is stiff, crude and unnatural, with dim lights and of course truckloads of guts, bloods and questionable things being done. I don't even know if I would call this a music video. There are no limits, nothing is sacred. From slight people up to violate them, again all while rocking his pig mask, it simply hits every button just to piss you off. But the most disturbing part of the whole music video is that one scene with a pregnant woman. Let's say he pulls a Serbian film move. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, trust me, you don't wanna know. Don't Google that. But also covering banned and forbidden movies sounds like something you would guys enjoy. What do you think? Clinical sodomy is clearly a misunderstood artistic masterpiece, exploring taboos and emotional states buried in the layers of our society and mind. With rules? Nah, I'm just kidding, it's some hot basement garbage created by an edgelord. I don't get it, I don't wanna get it, this isn't good and convince me otherwise. Graveyard ejaculations, demonologist. Satan was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Oh boy, here we go. Christians, prepare your crosses and wash your eyes with holy water. I mean, you heard the title of the video and this should tell you everything. Musically, this song is raw, chaotic, and deliberately made unlistenable. Like lo-fi black metal with power electronics and mashed all together. In simple terms, if this were to come up on your radio, you would hit the radio a few times to make it work, because you wouldn't realize it's a song. And the visuals are faithfully following the song. Now, because of the musical style, you can also predict that the video is quite fast-paced, with jump cuts and harsh lights. The tone of the video is grungy and it's combined with a dust filter over it, giving it a nasty and decaying look. The topic is pure filth, and it excels every black metal mainstream song in terms of the level of blasphemy. Something like Gabriel Blow Your Trumpets looks like child's play. The video also features a story, unlike some of the entries, but because of the sheer amounts of glitches, mutilated gender parts, it's really hard to focus, and perhaps even better. I know there is a naked guy on a cross and doing, well, you know what, personal things to himself, while those parts are not quite alright, to the point they are just a lump of flesh. But there is one grosser scene in the video. The one when the girl is shown on screen who is starting to spread her bloody legs, which made me almost puke, as between her legs there was a eye popping out of her. I feel dirty just describing the video. And can you call this music art? I mean, it sounds like someone recorded a vacuum cleaner having a seizure, so it's hard to debate. And if there are really people out there who enjoy this, Please explain, because I need answers. 𝒙𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅 carnage. Would you agree with me that the poor is the man whose pleasure depends on the premise of others? Ready for a thought-provoking experience? You know that feeling when a song gets stuck in your head for days and starts driving you slowly insane? That could be considered a Ohrwurm. It literally means earworm in German, but don't let that fool you, thinking it's some catchy pop tune or something you would expect to see from Rammstein. This is much more heavier. When I searched for this video, I thought I was wrongly directed to an 18+ page, because it starts with a man and a girl slowly going into the act. The weird thing is that the girl is dripping blood. Just to explain to you, the setting is very cinematic, and it's definitely not low budget. There are some talented people behind this one. The part where things go south, if I'm understanding the video correctly, is when the woman infects the man with a worm. And the whole video had implications that worms would be in play. Slowly the man feels the worms under his skin and how they are crawling inside of him before bursting out through his skin. There were two scenes in this video that struck me the most. The first one was when the man was on his knees, his intestines laying on the floor, and he was frantically trying to collect them and push them back inside. Just a horrible thought to have. But the cherry on the top is when the worms start to crawl out of his, well, you know what. The problem is that the man is actually enjoying this, as we will see at the end. And the final scene is when his tool explodes into a fountain of flesh and worms. But the song tries to underline a very big problem today. It satirizes pop culture while showing how easily people became mentally trapped, or go to seek pleasures in the most horrific way possible. Happiness in Slavery, 9 Inch Nails. The choice for the final entry of this layer was a bit tough, but many of you asked for something special and cult-like, and we are finishing off the layer with 9 Inch Nails. The music video for Happiness in Slavery is directed by John Reese, who was inspired by the 1899 novel The Garden. The music is aggressive, industrial, it's built on pounding mechanical rhythms, distorted guitars and harsh electronic textures, which is best described as industrial body horror. Visually it's dark, sterile and mechanical. Everything takes place in a very grimy metallic chamber, drenched in harsh lighting and deep shadows. Sometimes the camera drifts to a random object before snapping back to blood, guts and gore. At the center of all of this is Bob, who is slowly and graphically dismantled by machines, gloves, drills and grinds. It's not frantic, it's cold. And I hope you get what I mean by that. By the end, all the pleasures has stripped him away from humanity. He succumbed to his injuries and was no longer a person, just a lump of flesh. The song itself mocks the illusion of freedom. How society claims we are free, while quietly chaining us to systems that exploit us. It's a metaphor for capitalism, religion, 9-to-5 jobs, anything that makes you willingly sacrifice, while pretending it was your choice all along. However you choose to interpret this video, it's an elegant and classic piece of music history, and the perfect way to close this layer. Layer 6. The ones that should be banned. These are the videos you'll never see on TV. They are explicit, banned and infamous. Just a heads up, there is no specific order here. Every entry is disturbing in its own unique way. Break the Law, The Mafia, 6U. After covering deathcore, horror rapcore and various noise projects, a simple rap track feels a bit tame, am I right? Now, to be perfectly clear, Break the Law is quite a brutal track. It's aggressive and filled with that gangsta energy. It's not just a song, it's a manifesto of lawless chaos and a throwback to 3-6 Mafia days. It almost feels like a street anthem, talking about rebellion, and the defiance of all authority. This video has your typical things you will see in rap videos. Flexing chains, spitting verses at the camera, but the reason why this video landed on the list, it's because it features VHS-like clips edited in. They are completely red color graded with a grainy filter over them, making it a bit hard to see what's going on. These low-budget clips are actually videos of real-life crimes. From my research, they are straight-up surveillance footage of riots and police brutality. Even videos where people are being attacked in cold blood. Crimes that have been committed and filmed while portraying this music video. The most infamous scene is where an unknown person loses their head, and the aftermath was that the guys around him were playing ball with it. It's unsettling, but it's a brutal portrayal of real-life problems. The song paints this grim picture where breaking the law is a necessity, not a choice. Again, I'm genuinely curious if any rap fan can explain a bit more about these clips used, because using such footage for a music video is insane. But that's what this layer is about, where real life is endangered or even lost. The video shines a dark light on the outlaw mentality. Hollow Visions by Eagles. This UK punk band has quite an interesting idea for their song Hollow Visions. It's a grim lo-fi experience that perfectly mirrors the song Emotional Decay. The video starts with a hard-hitting bass riff and with a voice that screams at you. And the news site Drowning Sound voted this as the most grossest video ever made. The video has a grainy VHS filter over the video, but it doesn't try to mask or hide anything, as the video begins with a close-up shot of an eye, but then they start to operate on the eye, without sugarcoating and as direct as it can get. You will see how the eye is, well, cut, yanked, open, needle stuck into, and parts being sewed together. Ugh. And I didn't know by now, but videos of eye surgeries are definitely my things that I don't like to watch. The video feels like a visual metaphor. The band intentionally links this eye surgery to the song's themes. Just like the eyes cut in the video, our dreams and hopes are broken and distorted too. In essence, it's a nightmarish reminder. We imagine the future, but life slices it into ways we might not expect or even want. But what happens when you desperately need something? How far are you willing to go to get it? I need Necro. Shot in New York, the video is one of the most realist and most depressing things I've seen in a while. The video is low quality and it almost seems like it was shot with a flip phone. The whole thing feels more like a gritty street documentary than a traditional music video.
100% pure. You did literally
There is no glamour here, just desperation and filth. It's not stylized or metaphorical. Necro's lyrics are hard-hitting, talking about the life of an addict and what are they going through. The melody is light and dreamy, total opposite of the things they are portraying and singing about. By the way, the beat itself is lifted from LL Cool J's I Need Love, which makes this entry even more twisted. The video is depicting Necro's uncle and his best friend using H and smoking C when Necro is performing a song around them. A still image of his uncle also appears at the cover of the album card. The visual shock factor mirrors the lyrics, a portrayal of addiction that's so blunt it's almost unwatchable. Everything is shown to the last detail, and this is why it's so unsettling. It's not fiction, there aren't any special effects. You're just watching two people who are slowly decaying, seizing, shivering, cold sweating, with eyes that have lost touch with reality. It leaves you questioning the artist's intent and your own reaction to it. Now, I wouldn't call this video exploitative or something created to pull a stunt. It's just how the things are in the world, whether you like it or not. I need Dear God, I Hate Myself. The song name says it all. It's the 7th studio album by the American indie rock band Shiu Shiu, released on February 23, 2010. For all you nerds out there, yes, they actually used a Korg DS10 software from a Nintendo DS to make some of the music. The song possesses strange synth noises and somber voice. It's abstract but yet strangely catchy. As the music video dropped on YouTube, it was immediately taken down for violating terms of use, and later it was re-uploaded to Vimeo just in case if you wanna watch it. The video itself is simple as it can get. A single static camera showing two people sitting side by side. Nothing flashy, nothing surreal, but after a few seconds things turn sour. Because of YouTube's strict guidelines, I can only tell you the girl will use her fingers and her mouth to undo her lunge. Again, sorry about the vague terms, but she was constantly doing that forcefully and over again, her eyes filled with tears, turning red, while the singer sits next to her, calmly eating a chocolate. It's uncensored and left for interpretation. The song itself is portrayal of self-hatred. Lines like "I will never be happy" and "I'm nothing but an animal" hit differently when you see the visual suffering to which lengths people are forcing themselves. I don't wanna reuse certain terms and dull their meaning, but this video is a clear portrayal of what I would call mental illness, shown with no filters, no metaphors, and it makes it really hard to watch, and you never know what people are battling behind closed doors. Everyone is simply healing from something they don't wanna talk about. So please, be kind, the world needs more of that. Lemon, Serge Gainsbourg. So, a spoiler alert here. This one isn't gory, bloody, heck, or anything in that nature. It's pure degeneracy, that's what it is. This video should be unbearable to watch and even make you puke. It's sung as a ballad between a father and his pre-teen daughter. This was released in 1984 by the French musician Serge. And yes, it was a duet with his 12-year-old daughter Charlotte Gainsbourg. Now, as you can guess from the titles, things do get very weird. The video they made is portraying themselves laying half naked in a bed, and it's real and it's ugly. The music and the video feel a little too intimate. It's the calmness, the softness, the total lack of acknowledgement that what you're seeing is very inappropriate. The way they are looking at each other, and the lyrics do not help either, with lines like "The love we will never make together is the most beautiful, the most violent, the purest." Like, hold up, this can't be real or remotely popular. In retrospective, most reviews were negative, with critics calling it disturbing and creepy. And yet, it still peaked at number 2 in France, and at this point, I just have to ask, what the hell is wrong with you people there? How did something like this, with all that backlash, became so popular? Maybe it's just for shock value, a deliberate provocation about taboos and innocence. But it doesn't change the fact that millions of people watched a grown man write a long letter to his daughter and decided to cuddle half naked in the bed for a video. It's honestly so unsettling to see how people got away with things like this under the label of art.
Oh, baby.
Villa and Rome. The song's name translates to "will and dream," but don't let this poetic title fool you. There is nothing uplifting around this one. The previous layer had some truly disgusting entries, but Shining managed to surpass even that level of gore, and not by a little. The band has always explored the darkest possible topics, and this one is no exception. Musically, The Shining leans hard into black metal roots. It opens up with a chaotic burst often heard in bands like Venom. Raw, fast and aggressive. The video itself shows a band playing in a bleak boiler room setup. It's what interrupts the performance that makes this so disturbing. Between the performance, they used real-life footage, stuff you would usually see on Rotten.com or LiveLeak, riots, cartel executions, and blood-soaked aftermaths. No filters, no metaphors, just pure raw violence. Now let's take a step back. Who is filming this? Who uploads this video online? But more importantly, who is watching them? If these questions interest you, I actually made a full deep dive video about these disturbing sites and why people seek them out. It's buried by YouTube, but the reasons are quite obvious. Its dark topic isn't well promoted, but I highly recommend to check it out if you have that morbid curiosity.
You're trying to crawl away?
Villa and Rome. We had all kinds of weird and obscure metal genres on the list, but we didn't have Indian death metal. You're welcome in advance for expanding your musical horizons. This one hits hard, ultra fast drumming, brutal riffs, and vocals that sound like somebody is actually hurting the singer. But let's talk about the real reason why it's on the list. The music video. I know, shocking. They decided to use real footage from the Gajan festival, a Hindu ritual celebrated in the West Bengal and a few other regions of India. Now, from what I have researched, and correct me if I'm wrong, the festival honored deities like Shiva, Nil, and Dharmaraj. What's interesting here is that the whole festival is centered around self-inflicted pain, but from non-sexual acts. And yes, I expected to see some weird stuff here, like bodies being pierced, people being whipped, and things like that. But what I actually saw went beyond that. There was a guy who was dancing around with a sword. Later he even used it on somebody. I also saw some bodies being burned and others thrown in the river. And as an outsider, I don't want to pretend that I know the full cultural context of that, but damn, that's extreme. The band uses this footage with frantic edits that turn into something spectacular. Like you're watching a cursed documentary with blast beats. It feels anxious, ominous, ritualistic, and completely unhinged. This one might be one of the most unique videos on the list. It was beautiful, but now it's sour. Remake. This entry actually broke the record for the longest music video on this Iceberg chart, clocking in by 12 minutes. Remake truly wanted to push some triggers with this one, and I was unsure where to put this entry at all. The whole song feels slow and emotionally draining. It starts with haunting, droning guitars and distorted ambient textures, gradually building tensions. The riffs are heavy, sludgy, something you would hear in doom metal. But the whole song combined with the video feels oppressive and punishing. The video is centered around little pigs crushed in slow motion under weights, golf clubs and even mouse traps. The combination of the sludge music and slow crushing visuals is not only too much for some people, but they do get creative even. There were scenes shot in slow motion, including a stopping scene and the last scene where they're all hanging from a tree. And it's really hard to express what I felt the first time when I saw that. Also, where the heck did they get so many of them? This music video and the song isn't something created to entertain you. It just wants to drag you along through despair. But maybe that's the whole point of this 12 minutes. A story of a world that chews us up in time, and by the end, you feel how beautiful it all was, and now how it became sour. Fatal Illusions by Gruesome. Blinded by ideology, out of touch with reality, off the edge of insanity, a pawn in their conspiracy. It's haunting to see that something that happened 25 years ago still echoes through the media and the pop culture. Columbine wasn't just a tragedy, it became a symbol, but for all the wrong reasons. And while we must remember the victims, there is something deeply uncomfortable about the fascination surrounding those types of attackers. That should be glorified, but oftentimes it seems so. The song itself is a critique of radicalization, how people get manipulated by ideology, conspiracy or media to the point they lose the touch with reality. Everyone becomes a threat, everyone becomes an enemy. It's a descent into pure delusion. Musically, it's a brutal death metal track in the vein of Cannibal Corpse. And there is the video. In case you didn't notice, it's composed almost entirely of the altered footage of the Columbine attackers themselves, Eric Harris and Dalit Klebold. On April 20, 1999, they entered Columbine High School and murdered 30 people before taking their own lives. The band used this footage through heavy filters likely to dodge YouTube's detection systems. But make no mistake, there is nothing poetic or symbolic here. It's just cold. It's one of the darkest days in modern day history played out in front of our screens. And that's what makes it so terrifying. There are no metaphors, no masks. And the lyrics paint a picture of the attackers not as monsters, but as lost broken paws, consumed by illusions.
understand. This has got to happen.
Collateral Damage by Brutal Truth. This music video is exactly 7 seconds long, making one of the most shortest music videos on this list. But in those 7 seconds, it says a lot. You get various flashes of explosions, violence, chaos, bodies, and then it's all over. Blink and you will miss it. It's less a song and more like a punch to the face. And what's the message? In a world of constant conflict and media overload, destruction has become a background noise. Quick, disposable, and forgotten. But I hope you don't forget about my channel that easy, and I hope you had a great time. Once again, thank you for the support. I've been 𝒙𝒑𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒅, and until the next deep dive, stay curious. Bye.